And my first child is me being able to share my love, you know. I was able to have my own.
Welcome back to BuzzBuster. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss daily videos. While the world was mourning King Von's death, his mom, Tisha, was out here making power plays that could rival Wall Street bosses, no lie. Instead of wasting her son's money like many expected, it has people talking. And yeah, she definitely turned her son's legacy into something that shocked everyone who thought she'd fall off after his passing. From whispers about surgery rumors to smart real estate deals, Tisha said loud and clear, "I'm securing this bag for the family." But before we dive into how she made these big moves, we gotta rewind to where it all began. King Von was known as one of the realest storytellers in drill music, but behind him stood a woman with vision, his mother, Tisha Bennett, the mastermind who took heartbreak and turned it into long-term success. Born April 13, 1976, this 50-year-old powerhouse from Los Angeles didn't just get lucky or stumble into money, she built an empire with her own hands. To really understand how she made her fortune after Von's death, you have to see her journey from the beginning. This isn't your average came-up-from-nothing story. It's about a woman who mixed street smarts with education and turned the hardest moment of her life into a life-changing breakthrough for her entire family. Let's take it back to 1976, Los Angeles, California, a time when survival was no joke. Tisha Bennett was born right in the middle of struggle, surrounded by the harsh realities of South Central LA. Violence, poverty, and chaos were everywhere. The late 70s and 80s hit hard. Crack was destroying homes, and gang wars were tearing communities apart. But here's the twist. While other kids were getting pulled into the street life, Tisha's mom stood firm and refused to let her daughter fall into that trap. She kept Tisha grounded, focused on her books, and made sure she knew that education was her only ticket out of the hood. And Tisha took that lesson seriously. She studied like her life depended on it, because deep down, she knew it did. She saw it all growing up. Friends getting locked up, overdosing, or losing their lives before they even turned 20. That kind of pain could have broken her, but instead, it built her. It made her tougher, sharper, and more determined to make something better for herself and her family. Tisha took all that pain and struggle she grew up with and turned it into fuel for success. While her classmates were skipping school and getting into mess, she stayed laser-focused on her books. She wasn't the most popular girl around, but she earned respect. Everyone knew she was destined for something bigger. Teachers admired her grind because she actually cared about learning. Even as a teen, she had this sharp business mindset that made her stand out. When most kids in her neighborhood were barely finishing school or dropping out, Tisha walked that stage proudly and grabbed her diploma. But she didn't stop there, not even close. She had dreams way bigger than a regular job in LA. She wanted to break that generational curse of poverty that had been holding her family down for decades. So what did she do? She packed her bags and took a leap of faith all the way to the University of Georgia. Imagine that. A young black woman from South Central LA heading to Georgia in the mid-90s to chase a college degree. That took guts, ambition, and serious drive. At the University of Georgia, Tisha studied business administration, and she didn't just show up for class. She soaked in every piece of knowledge she could. Finance, marketing, management, entrepreneurship. She learned it all like her life depended on it. Little did she know, all those late nights studying would later help her build and run a multi-million-dollar empire in her son's name. But don't get it twisted, college life wasn't easy for her. She was far from home, missing family, and dealing with culture shock while trying to make ends meet. Money was tight, but quitting was never an option. Tisha hustled hard, juggling part-time jobs, pulling all-nighters, and pushing herself through every challenge that came her way. Every step, she reminded herself why she started. to build a better life and create opportunities that didn't exist before. After she earned that degree, she went back to California with fire in her heart and big dreams in her head. She wanted to launch her own business, maybe a boutique, maybe something in real estate, but life hit fast. Bills had to be paid, so she took a management job at a retail store to keep her stable. Even though it wasn't her dream gig, Tisha gave it everything she had.
I was excited, nervous, all of it wrapped in one.
She treated that job like it was her own company, showing the same discipline, hustle, and focus that would one day make her millions. Tisha was a natural boss, sharp with numbers, smooth with people, and a born leader. Her store was always smashing sales goals, and everyone in the company knew she was the one who got things done. She was on her way up fast. But then came Walter "Silk" Bennett, and that's when everything took a wild turn.
Silk wasn't just some random dude from around the way. This man had a name in the streets. His government name was Walter E. Bennett, but everyone knew him as Silk, the one who had the streets of Chicago whispering his name. He was tied deep into the Black Disciples, rolling with the Ada Park crew. And trust, Silk was no part-time hustler. He'd been in and out of prison, moving through the game like someone who lived by his own rules. Now imagine this. You got the educated, hard-working businesswoman with a clean record and her future wide open, crossing paths with a street legend whose name carried both fear and respect. That's the classic story. The good girl meets the bad boy, and sparks start flying. Something about Silk drew her in. Maybe it was his confidence, that slick talk, or how he walked into a room like he owned it. Silk knew how to talk his way into anyone's heart. He was smooth, saying all the right things at the right time, telling Tisha he wanted to leave the streets behind, start fresh, and build something real. He told her that her brains and his street knowledge could make them unstoppable. And maybe part of her believed it. Maybe she thought she could be the one to help him turn it all around. But on the flip side, Silk probably saw Tisha as his chance to level up, to clean up his image and get that sense of legitimacy he never had. She was everything he wasn't, college-educated, stable, and respected. To him, she wasn't just a woman, she was an opportunity for a new kind of life. When they first started dating, it felt like a dream. Silk was on his best behavior, treating Tisha like royalty, showing her affection and being that charming man everyone said he could be. When he wasn't locked up, he played the role perfectly, protective, attentive, and smooth. But let's be real, the warning signs were flashing from the start. Late-night calls, secretive moves, and that street energy that never really goes away. Those red flags were there, but love can make even the smartest person ignore the noise. Silk would vanish for days with no warning, leaving Tisha wondering where he was and what he was into. Sometimes he'd come back flashing stacks of cash, way more than any honest job could bring in. And when Tisha tried to ask questions, he'd brush it off, saying, "I'm just handling business." Deep down, she knew something wasn't right, but love can make you ignore the noise. Despite the red flags waving loud and clear, Tisha fell hard for him. Maybe she believed her love could change him, or maybe she was just tired of doing life alone and wanted a family of her own. Whatever the reason, she took that leap. They got married and started building a family together. Their first child, Kayla B, came around 1992 or 1993, a bright spirit who would later step into the spotlight herself as a rapper and model, following the creative path her brother would one day make famous. Then came Davon DeQuan Bennett, better known as King Von, born on August 9, 1994, a name that would eventually become legendary in drill music. They also had another child whose name has been kept private, and that's understandable. Not everything in this story needed to be public, but here's where things got complicated. Silk already had 6 other children from previous relationships, which meant Von and his siblings became part of a huge blended family, 9 kids in total. And with Silk being who he was, staying out of trouble just wasn't his strong suit. The man couldn't keep himself away from the streets long enough to truly be the father he probably wanted to be. Reality hit Tisha hard. She found herself raising those kids mostly on her own. Silk was always in and out of jail, drug charges, weapons cases, street beefs. It was like a cycle that never stopped. Every time it seemed like life was finally calming down, something would happen and he'd be gone again. Tisha had to play both roles, mom and dad, while still keeping her manager job to feed her family and keep the lights on. She'd tuck her kids in at night and then stay up stressing, wondering how to make it all work. Even though she was married, she lived like a single mother because Silk's presence was unpredictable at best. The financial pressure was real, and so was the emotional toll, but she refused to fold. Walter's legal problems started draining every dime they had. His lawyer bills were piling up faster than he could make money in the streets, and Tisha's retail manager paycheck just wasn't enough to keep a big family afloat. She was barely keeping the lights on, struggling to pay rent, buy groceries, and hold everything together, all while trying to give her kids some kind of normal life. But the real breaking point came when Tisha discovered Walter was cheating, just like people would later say about their son Vaughn in his own relationships. Silk had that same weakness. He was a ladies' man who couldn't stay loyal. He had women scattered all over Chicago and didn't even bother to hide it anymore. When Tisha finally caught him red-handed with another woman, that was the last straw. That confrontation was explosive. Years of anger, stress, and heartbreak all came out at once. Tisha had already endured his arrests, the money problems, and the constant fear that came with being tied to a man deep in the streets. But cheating, that was something she refused to accept. She stood her ground and told him straight up he had to make a choice: be a faithful husband and father, or keep running the streets and lose everything. And just like that, Walter made his decision. He chose the streets. He couldn't let go of his lifestyle. The fast money, the other women, the street reputation.
His father was, he was like back and forth in jail, like he was locked up most of the time, and then he passed away. So he was there when he was able to be there.
So Tisha did what strong women do when enough is enough. She filed a divorce and took full control of her life. She accepted being a single mother because, truthfully, she'd been doing it all alone.
The divorce wasn't clean. It was messy, painful, and full of struggle. Walter didn't want to pay child support because most of his money came from illegal hustles, and he wasn't about to leave a paper trail. Tisha had to fight for every dollar, and even when the court ordered payments, they came whenever Walter wasn't locked up. It was inconsistent and exhausting. Now picture this: Tisha Bennett, a college-educated woman with a business degree, raising 3 kids alone in one of Chicago's most dangerous neighborhoods. She was working long hours, managing a store, doing everything she could to survive. The south side of Chicago in the late 90s and early 2000s wasn't easy. It was chaos. Gang violence was raging, and kids couldn't even walk to school without watching their backs. Drug dealers posted up on every block, gunshots echoed at night, and the police either looked the other way or were too afraid to step in. Tisha tried her hardest to shield her kids from that world, but it was like fighting against a current that never stopped. And Vaughn, he was growing up right in the middle of it. He saw how the streets looked at his father, how people talked about Silk's reputation, how his name carried weight in the Black disciples. He heard the stories, the money, the respect, the power, and to a young boy in that environment, that kind of life could start to look tempting. Tisha was doing everything she could to guide him away from that path, but the streets were whispering his father's name louder than she could shout. As Vaughn got older, the questions started hitting harder, and Tisha didn't always have the answers he wanted. Why is Dad always locked up? Why doesn't he live with us? Why do other kids' dads have regular jobs while mine's in a gang? Those were the questions that cut deep. Tisha tried to keep it real, but gentle. She told him Walter had made bad choices, that his path wasn't one to follow. But to a young boy who kept hearing stories about his father's street rep, Walter sounded more like a legend than a listen. By the time Vaughn hit his teenage years, the pull of the streets was louder than his mom's advice. Tisha pushed school, discipline, and doing better, but that Chicago street life had its own rhythm, and Vaughn started moving to that beat. He began running with the wrong crowd, getting into fights, and before long,
he found himself tied to the same gang his father once claimed, the Black Disciples. It broke Tisha's heart. The very thing she fought so hard to protect him from had swallowed him up. The boy she'd raised with hope and love was now getting caught up in the same cycle that destroyed his father's life. Vaughn started catching cases early, fights, possession charges, and before long, he was facing real serious charges. His first arrest came while he was still a teenager, and it crushed Tisha's spirit because deep down, she knew this was only the start of a long, painful road. The arrests kept stacking, weapons charges, drug cases, and eventually murder allegations. Vaughn spent much of his late teens and early 20s going in and out of jail. Still, through it all, Tisha never turned her back on him. She was always there, visiting, putting money on his books, and praying every night that one day he'd walk away from that street life for good. But then came the plot twist no one saw coming. After Vaughn beat his final major case in 2017, something in him shifted. During those long nights behind bars, he'd been writing, telling stories, freestyling, and putting his pain into rhymes. When he got out, his cousin Lil Durk, already a big name in Chicago's rap scene, told him to take music seriously. That advice changed everything. Vaughn's sound was raw, powerful, and unlike anything out at the time. His storytelling felt real, like he was painting scenes straight from the block, letting listeners feel the danger, pain, and truth of his world. When he dropped Crazy Story in 2018, it was like lightning hit. The track exploded online, and suddenly King Von's name was buzzing everywhere. People couldn't get enough of his vivid lyrics and street authenticity. Lil Durk saw the potential instantly and pulled Vaughn into his circle, OTF, Only the Family, giving him a brotherhood and a chance to build something legit. Durk became that big brother figure, helping Vaughn navigate fame, the industry, and all the traps that came with sudden success. But Vaughn wasn't just talented, he was smart with his business moves too. While other rappers rushed into bad contracts, Vaughn made sure to keep ownership of his masters. His manager, Jameson Francois, schooled him on how to protect his rights and make sure he benefited from every record he dropped. From there, Vaughn's rise was nothing short of meteoric. After Crazy Story, he followed up with Took Her to the O, and both songs went crazy. Millions of streams, radio play, and cosigns from major artists. Overnight, the same kid who once couldn't escape the streets was now running the charts, proving that even after all the chaos, his voice was powerful enough to change his entire legacy. King Von's debut mixtape, Grandson Volume 1, stamped his name as one of the rawest and most talented new voices in drill music. What made him stand out wasn't just his flow, it was his storytelling. Vaughn didn't just rap about the streets, he painted pictures. Every line felt like a movie scene, gritty, real, and emotional. And when the success finally started pouring in, Vaughn never forgot where he came from, especially the woman who held him down through it all. After years of struggle, he finally had the money to give his mom, Tisha, the life she always deserved. He bought her a beautiful home far away from the chaos of Chicago's South Side, somewhere peaceful, quiet, and safe. He even surprised her with a brand new car and made sure she never had to stress about bills again. For the first time in her life, Tisha could breathe easy. No more late nights worrying about rent, no more juggling shifts just to make ends meet. She left a retail job and devoted her time to being there for her son, promoting his music, showing up at shows, and supporting his dreams. After decades of pain and sacrifice, she was finally tasting the good life, the one she had always prayed for. Vaughn's rise didn't stop there. His album, Welcome to O-Block, debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and went platinum, a massive achievement for an artist who had once been fighting for his freedom. He started collaborating with major names like Lil Durk, Polo G, and other top-tier artists. His music videos racked up millions of views, his fan base exploded, and his streaming numbers were off the charts. Vaughn was living the dream. Fame, money, and respect were finally his. But with that kind of success, especially in drill music, came serious danger. Von's lyrics were so vivid and real that they caught attention from everyone: fans, the police, and even rivals who took his words personally. He was living with constant threats, both on the streets and behind the scenes, but that didn't stop him. Von stayed locked in on his music, focused on growing his brand and expanding his empire. He was already planning big things: new albums, tours, merch lines, and even his own record label to give young Chicago artists a shot at success without getting trapped in bad deals. He wanted to create opportunities to show that you could make it out the hood and own what you build. But then came November 6th, 2020, the night everything changed. Von was in Atlanta, outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, when a confrontation with Quando Rondo's crew turned violent. Was started as a heated argument, turned physical, and then chaos. Shots rang out, and in the middle of it all, Timothy Leaks, also known as Lil Tim, pulled the trigger. King Von was shot and killed that night. He was only 26 years old, right at the peak of his career, just when it seemed like everything he worked for was finally paying off. The news spread like wildfire. The entire hip-hop world went silent in shock and heartbreak. Fans, fellow artists, and music execs all mourned him deeply. The loss felt personal because Von's music had truth in it. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a storyteller of real life. For Tisha, the pain was unbearable. She had already lost Von's father to the streets, and now her son had been taken by that same violence. It was a cycle she tried so hard to break, and yet it came full circle in the most tragic way. But even in the middle of that grief, something else shifted. Von's entire music catalog, business deals, and royalties became hers to manage. And this is where Tisha's education and hustle truly showed. Von had always been smart about his business from day one, keeping ownership of his masters and building his brand wisely. And now, all that hard work was in her hands. She wasn't just a grieving mother anymore. She was the head of a legacy, managing the empire her son built from the ground up. Von's manager, Jameson Francois, broke it down best. He wasn't an artist that sold his publishing, so everything belongs to him. It's a blessing from God because his kids and his family will be good for the rest of their life. That statement right there explained everything. This was the moment people realized just how smart King Von had been about his business and how his mama, Tisha, ended up securing generational wealth. See, Von never signed one of those traditional record deals that trap artists into giving up everything they create. His partnership with Empire wasn't a full-on label deal. It was what they called a commitment project. Basically, Empire helped him distribute and market his music, but Von kept ownership of everything that mattered, his masters and his publishing rights. They might have taken 10 to 20% from marketing and distribution, but Von kept 80 to 90% of all his revenue. That's huge. And when Von passed, every single bit of that ownership rolled straight into his estate, which is now managed by his mother, Tisha. That means she controls everything: the music, the royalties, the brand, all of it. Now, let's talk numbers because they're insane. Crazy Story went 3 times platinum with over 3 million units sold. Took Her to the O also hit triple platinum status.
I was upset, angry, disappointed. It's a whole lot of different emotions because it's my first child father, and he don't get to see him grow up, get to see the things that I'm able to see, you know, or none of that. So you don't get to see the part of him that's just like him. Excited me about having
his album, Welcome to O-Block, debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and went platinum, moving over 1 million copies. And that's just sales. On Spotify alone, that album has over 1 billion streams, with billions more spread across other platforms. Von was living the dream. Fame, money, and respect were finally his.
The YouTube money is another beast. Von's music videos still pull in millions of views, and the ad revenue from that goes straight to his estate. His biggest videos like Crazy Story, Took Her to the O, and How It Go have hundreds of millions of views each, and they keep climbing even years after his death. Every new click adds to the pot. Then you've got album sales, both digital and physical. Fans continue buying Von's music, streaming his projects, and supporting everything tied to his name. Every purchase, every single one, sends more money into the estate. His posthumous releases have been massive too, because fans want to hold on to anything new that connects him to Von. And here's the wild part. According to his manager, there are still 2 full albums worth of unreleased music sitting in the vault. Every time they drop a new track or project, that's another wave of streams, sales, and royalties flooding in. They've been careful about timing these releases, spreading them out to keep the momentum strong and make sure each one lands with impact. The merch game is booming too. The King Von brand, clothes, hoodies, hats, accessories, and collectibles moves heavy. Fans want to represent his legacy, and the estate has made sure everything carrying his name meets the highest standard. They've kept full control of his image and licensing deals, making sure every product honors who Von was and what he stood for. Tisha is now managing an empire, one her son built with talent, heart, and vision. And thanks to Von's smart business decisions, she and her family don't just have temporary fame or quick money. They have long-term wealth that'll last for generations. Now this is where things get really interesting. Tisha didn't just sit on that money like a grieving mother unsure what to do with sudden fame and fortune. She flipped it into a full-blown business operation. Remember, she's got that business degree, and she wasn't about to let it go to waste. She knew exactly how to move smart, and that's exactly what she did. Word on the street, and backed up by solid business filings, is that Tisha has been reinvesting the majority of Von's earnings into long-term plays like real estate and business ventures. She's not out here blowing cash, she's building wealth brick by brick. Reports say she's been buying up properties in Chicago and Atlanta, stacking a real estate portfolio that's bringing in rental income every single month. Money that'll keep flowing for decades. And she didn't stop there. Tisha also put money into several small businesses, smart, diversified investments that make sure Von's estate keeps growing from multiple directions. The move toward real estate is especially genius because both Chicago and Atlanta's property values have been rising steady over the years. So not only is she keeping Von's legacy alive, she's growing his wealth, turning tragedy into a foundation for generational success. Tisha's playing the long game. She's not just focused on the present, she's making sure Von's kids and grandkids will be financially secure forever. And she's doing it the right way too, working with financial advisors, estate planners, and accountants to make every move count. She's even structured the estate to minimize taxes and maximize growth, turning what could have been a one-time inheritance into a self-sustaining empire. This isn't just about spending Von's money. It's about building generational wealth, real legacy moves. And the numbers behind the scenes are wild. Every single month, the estate pulls in hundreds of thousands of dollars from streaming royalties, publishing rights, and merchandise sales. A steady flow of income that just doesn't stop. Von's music is still dominating online. His YouTube ad revenue alone is bringing in huge checks. Those music videos still racking up millions of views. His biggest ones, like Crazy Story, Took Her to the O, and How It Go, have hundreds of millions of plays and keep climbing. Every new listener, every algorithm recommendation means more streams, more ad money, and more exposure. And it's not just YouTube. Album sales, both digital and physical, are still strong years later. Fans continue to buy and stream Von's music because his sound still hits hard, still feels real. Every single sale feeds back into the estate, keeping the business alive and booming. Then came the Posthumous projects, and they blew up. What It Means to Be King, released in 2022, debuted in the top 10 on the Billboard 200, proving that Von's impact didn't fade after his death. The following year, Grandson dropped in 2023 and did major numbers too, showing fans still had deep love for his music and message. And here's the thing, Von's unreleased verses are still dropping fire. Collabs with Lil Durk, Polo G, and other big names keep surfacing, and each one adds another wave of streams and revenue. These features often outperform solo tracks because fans are hungry for anything new from Von. Every release becomes an event. So when you really look at it, what Tisha has built isn't just a memorial. It's a thriving business empire that keeps expanding. She took her son's hard work and made sure it'll never fade away.
Von's name, music, and brand continue to grow stronger every year, not just because of fame, but because his mama turned pain into power and grief into generational growth.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the rumors about how Tisha's been spending all that money. Word on the street is that she's been living it up, and not just a little bit. We're talking about designer fits, luxury jewelry, high-end cars, and whispers about cosmetic surgery, too. Her lifestyle is clearly leveled up, and people definitely noticed. The BBL rumors started flying across social media when fans began pointing out that Tisha looked different in recent photos. Some claim she had a Brazilian butt lift, breast work done, maybe even a few other cosmetic tweaks. Whether it's true or not, one thing's undeniable. Her glow-up is real. Since Von's passing, her life has gone from struggle to full luxury. Her Instagram shows it all. Designer handbags, red-bottom heels, fancy vacations, and dinners at restaurants most people can't even get reservations for. She's been spotted at exclusive events, wearing top-tier brands, and smiling like someone who finally found peace after decades of pain. But of course, the internet always has opinions. Some people criticize it for showing off, saying it looks wrong to flaunt wealth when her son's gone. Others, though, clap back, saying she has every right to enjoy what she built. The criticism hasn't been light either. A few voices in the hip-hop world have accused Tisha of profiting from her son's death, saying she should focus more on preserving Von's legacy than herself. But let's keep it real. Those takes ignore everything she went through. This woman went from struggling to pay bills in the hood to running a multi-million-dollar estate that she helped manage and grow. If she wants to treat herself after years of sacrifice and sleepless nights, who's anyone to judge? She earned that right. Every designer bag, every trip, every moment of self-care. That's not greed, that's survival turning into success. After everything she lost and everything she built, a little luxury doesn't erase her pain. It's her reward for making it through it all. Truth be told, Tisha Bennett stands for something way bigger than what social media says. She's proof that when you mix education with hustle, you can turn tragedy into generational wealth. While plenty of families in similar positions end up wasting inheritance money on wild spending and chaos, Tisha flipped the script. She used her business degree, her street smarts, and her discipline to make sure Von's legacy keeps growing year after year. Behind all the flashy headlines, she's been making serious power moves, sitting down with financial advisors, diversifying the estate, and growing a network of investments that keep paying off. Her real estate portfolio alone is worth millions now, bringing in steady rental income from properties in Chicago and Atlanta. On top of that, she's invested in restaurants, clothing lines, and small businesses, creating multiple income streams that keep the estate strong and secure. So yeah, people can talk all they want about bags and surgeries, but when you look at the full picture, Tisha's not just spending, she's building. She's playing the long game, setting up something that'll still be generating income long after the internet stops gossiping. She's living proof that you can come from struggle, face tragedy, and still rise up to control your destiny, all while keeping your family's name alive and powerful. The estate management of King Von's legacy has been nothing short of professional. Tisha isn't running things like a grieving parent just trying to figure it out. She's operating like a CEO. She brought in a top-tier team of lawyers, accountants, and business managers to handle every legal, financial, and branding detail. This isn't some side hustle. This is a fully functioning enterprise, managed with the same precision as a Fortune 500 company. Now, some people out there love to throw shade, saying it's cold for her to profit off her son's death. But let's think about that for a second. What's the alternative? Should she just sit back, broke and heartbroken, while lawyers and outsiders fight over her son's music rights? Should she let the empire her son built crumble just because people might talk? Of course not. Von built his career to take care of his family. That was always his mission. And now his mom is doing exactly what any smart, loving parent would do, making sure that vision actually comes to life. Von would want his mama living good, staying stable, and making sure his kids are set for life.
and the results speak loud. The estate has generated over $20 million since Von's passing, and that number keeps climbing. Between streaming royalties, publishing income, merch sales, and investment profits, this empire isn't slowing down one bit. The machine is running smooth, and it's all thanks to smart planning and execution on Tisha's part. Look at how she's handled things compared to other artists' families. Some estates end up stuck in endless lawsuits or lose everything to bad management, but not Von's. Tisha's business sense has kept everything clean, organized, and profitable. Von's name still shines bright, his music still dominates, and his family stays financially secure. And her real estate game is next level. The portfolio she's built is worth millions on its own. Tisha's been buying up properties in both Chicago and Atlanta, not just to flip, but to revitalize neighborhoods and generate steady rental income. She's playing the long game, betting on appreciation while making short-term cash flow work in her favor. She's even moved into commercial real estate, owning buildings that now house studios, music offices, and small creative businesses connected to the industry. But she didn't stop there. Tisha's also backing Chicago-based entrepreneurs, helping locals launch restaurants, clothing lines, and small startups. That's real impact. She's not just making money, she's circulating it back into the community. Every investment creates jobs, builds opportunities, and keeps Von's name tied to something positive. And she's thinking bigger than music and real estate. She's putting money into tech companies and growth industries, making sure the estate's income streams are as diverse as possible. That's how you future-proof a legacy. The merchandise and licensing side has been a massive success. Tisha's extremely selective about who gets to use Von's name or image. No cheap cash grabs, no random brand deals. Every product with Von's face or name on it is high quality and carefully vetted. That approach has kept the King Von brand strong and respected while bringing in serious licensing revenue. But maybe the most powerful move of all, Tisha's been setting up trust funds and financial accounts for Von's children. She's making sure they'll never have to struggle or fight over money when they grow up. Those trust funds are built to last, structured to grow over time, and designed to provide for them for life. At the end of the day, what Tisha's done isn't cold, it's smart. She turned heartbreak into structure, pain into purpose, and chaos into stability. King Von built the foundation, but his mom made sure it became a legacy, one that'll keep providing, inspiring, and growing for generations to come. If you made it this far, you already know this story is deeper than headlines. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss what's coming next. We're breaking down real stories, real business moves, and the truth behind the fame. Tap in, stay locked, and join the family because the next drop is about to go crazy.